Hello, 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 our beautiful listeners. It's me, Moon and Aries, host with the most, your co-anchor, Ange. This is part 2 of our cancel culture episode. If you haven't heard part 1, you can pause right here and go listen to that one. Honestly, it's great. Just a quick recap. We talk about how I think cancel culture is an irresponsible trend and my take on what's really happening behind the scene with all the performative social justice. Oh, yes. And of course, we touch on R. Kelly. Enough said. Let's get into part 2. There's this obsession of being politically correct nowadays. Like this whole phenomenon of political correctness has shifted from what's right or wrong, like of this issue, to who's more right or wrong. It seems like to me, and it's like I said earlier, a competition of who has a higher moral ground on social media. It's a false performative wokeness, like This obsession of being right. Is like, I am right and you are wrong. Therefore, it makes me a better person than you are because now I've just proven to my 347 followers that you're a piece of shit. Yay, me. Like, is that political correctness now?
Like, but right according to whom, though? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like the law, but no longer. It's almost like right according to morals.
But like, so like, I guess according to popular opinions.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
So
the whole of political correctness is really just popular opinions.
So I'm just gonna play devil's apple bottom jeans for a second.
Boots with the fur.
Boots with the fur. And I'm just gonna say, I feel like if humans are all essentially problematic, which I think we are because I identify as problematic.
Me as
then
well.
How is anyone problematic? Like, how is anyone politically correct if we are all problematic?
Oh my God. It's like it's like happiness, you know, if everyone is happy, then nobody really no longer knows what sadness is. Then also happiness doesn't exist because that's just a normal state of being.
But it just makes me question, like, who are we to actually hold others accountable if we're all problematic in different ways?
Because we are anonymous, and that's the thing.
Cancel culture we're anonymous.
Yeah, the cancel culture, political correctness. I mean, this phenomenon of obsessing to be validated through other people, and most of the time just strangers on the internet, is mind-blowing.
Right.
It's mind-blowing because it's like I said earlier with the comments and like people liking your comments and, you know, proving other people that you're more, politically correct or more more woke than other people. It's shifted away from what it's supposed to be. And it doesn't do anything other than your own self-esteem.
Yeah. There's also this whole phenomenon of like people urging content creator or I don't know, fashion blogger to come out and speak on political stuff, you know, or address racism when things actually happen. Like people be like, oh, you know, like this, I don't know, like this person, why didn't you come out and say something on this topic? Like people actually calling out people if they're not performing on social media, if they're not actually voicing out stuff.
This is so interesting because I remember we did an episode on, I think it was racism and BLM back in the day. And we talked about how companies are now all of a sudden coming out and talking about like how they're woke and like, you know, they support BLM, you know, anti-hate, anti-Asian hate and all that stuff. And then like how we feel like that's performative wokeness because they have no real actions. When we said that, we are targeting companies that uses BIPOCs and making money off of them.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing. Like, then if you profit off of BIPOC, then I feel like you need to come out and say things and say your steps of how you going to, you know, in your company make things better. But how are you to ask, I don't know, like a beauty blogger and be like, honey, you need to talk about racism. And the beauty blogger is like, are you kidding me? Like
sis is like trying to get you on a highlighter, and you're like, oh, no, you must talk about racism. Because you know what? You're on social media, so how dare you don't talk about racism? But what if she's actually doing a lot of work, you know, outside of the little square? She's just not posting about it, but she's actually educating herself on racism.
Sis, I'm just trying to get you on a highlighter. That's fucking got me.
Sis, 5 ways to style a crop tee, and now I'm being targeted.
I'm dying at this.
Literally. Yeah, it's like people are like, it's not enough,
it's
you know. They're like calling out everyone, so then they feel like they can actually make an impact. But it's like the only person you have control over is yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, and people have this thinking, this thought where celebrities are like, I don't know, sacred or better than us or something. Like, you know, like you gave them the fame. Yeah. Like you literally gave them the fame. And now you feel like they need to do, you know, do you feel like they have that social responsibility to say things that you want to hear? Yeah. But that's not true. They're also just human beings.
Yeah. It's not their job to educate you.
Yeah. And they're also human beings that make mistakes. So, you know, like the thing about cancel culture that is so problematic to me is that I compare cancel culture to the American prison system.
Tell me more.
Honey, it almost seems like there's no rehabilitation. It's so unforgiving and literally inescapable. And doesn't allow growth.
True.
It's the American prison system. It's like to cancel someone doesn't help anyone. The only person it helps is the platform, which is the prison, you know? Yeah. It doesn't help the victim. It doesn't help the person that you put in the prison. The only people benefiting from all of this is the privatized American prison system. So when you think about that, you compare it to cancel culture, it's the same. You know, we have to, I think collectively, we need to start seeing other people's mistake as a cry for help instead.
Right.
And I think that's where we're lacking in all of this, is that there's a lack of empathy for people. I know they've done things, you know, really problematic, and going back to R. Kelly, really bad things this bad man has done. But at the same time, if you have a little bit of empathy, like, I'm not saying you should forgive him or he should no longer be canceled. That's not what I mean. But like, let's just take a step back and think about it. Like, he also was traumatized.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if you can't really like take the consequence that R. Kelly had compared to Doja Cat, you know, compared to other people that is being canceled, quote unquote, like. The difference between the internet digging up a problematic tweet from 12 years ago and canceling the person for it, and the difference of canceling someone who repeatedly done problematic things.
Yes.
It's such a huge difference. And we're seeing it as the same, you know? We're calling it as one thing, which is cancel culture.
Yeah. It's like, it's someone, you know, like when celebrity like Rico Nasty went on live and made a racist comment. It's incorrect, but how is it fair that she's R. Kelly canceled, you know?
Yeah. Like, wait, has her streaming went up 20%?
I am not sure. But it's like, how does someone get R. Kelly canceled from saying something wrong, you know? Like, I know that you should be like responsible for your words, but it's like, it has gone so toxic that we're actually not giving people the space they need to learn and to do better.
There's the lack of rehabilitation in the society for people that, you know, is involved in cancel culture. And it's the same, you know, if you don't want to be judged, then you don't judge other people. Such cliche, I know, call me out on it. But
cancel me.
Cancel me. But also, like, if you don't want to be canceled, then you don't cancel other people. Like, well, I've been thinking, is there an alternative to cancel culture?
Giving people the opportunity to learn.
Yeah, it's like asking the American prison system, like, is there any more programs that we can put in so they don't come back?
Dude, I mean, that's the point, that like that's the problem though with the whole like cancel, call out, or you know, stuff like this, is that there's no, like, it's not beneficial. It's really just not beneficial to anyone. So I guess when people actually make a mistake, instead of jumping on it and be like, guess what, you're fucking canceled, why don't people actually take the time, or the person needs to take the time and educate themselves and actually trying to figure out what they did wrong?
Remember back in 2020?
Yeah.
It's cancel culture every day. Like, someone is getting canceled every other day.
Like, remember when people got canceled from posting a black square because now they're flooding the timelines? You know, like,
yes, yeah.
It's like people just trying to find out what they can call out others on so they can get their cute little ego boost, so then they care more. They care smarter. I don't know.
This is once again one of those like obsession of being right, that whole like competition of like who is smarter, who is doing better, who has higher moral grounds. Honey, you have validation issues, and if you're getting it from strangers, go see a therapy.
Like, babe, we are all problematic. So
honestly, we are all problematic. I have so many issues, addressed, non-addressed. But I think what political correctness is doing to people, and cancel culture is doing to people, is preventing people from really speaking their truth or their opinions, because they're fearful of being canceled. Like, we're in such polarized society now. Like, either you believe in the same things I do, or I'm not gonna even listen to you on, you know, where's the better burger joint. You know?
Yeah, I guess,
like,
right, because I feel like sometimes the term like politically correct or incorrect is kind of being used to like almost discredit your opponent's opinion.
Yes.
Like, if someone's opinion is against like popular idea, or like, you know, against something, and they'll be like, oh, you can't say that because it's politically incorrect. And even though I'm not agreeing with a lot of the ideas and concept of maybe like, you know, the opposite person, if I use political correctness to discredit them, does that actually inhibit their freedom of speech? You know, like, should they be entitled to their opinion even though it's incorrect to me?
Yeah. And I mean, in the society, we encourage individuality, we encourage opinions, we encourage critical thinking. But at the same time, when someone gives you an opinion that you don't like, you cancel them.
Right. Like, you call them out, and you
call them out. Like, the society always have this obsession of holding people accountable to the same morals and thinkings without empathy. But it's like, at the same time, you are telling people like, oh, you celebrate your individuality, like, without like, okay, what are even morals like that? If we're gonna get into it, I'm an Aquarius.
Avocado, apple bottom jeans,
boots with a fur. Like, honestly, like, what are morals? Like, who made them up? Why do we have them? And why are we bound to them?
I know.
Because I've been reading this book. Here we go again with the books. And it talks about how life is really just hell. Your regular daily ass life is really just hell. Yeah. And there's really no hell because we're already living in hell. And the and hell is really just humans imposing all these laws and morals on ourselves that we make ourselves feel like shit, and also try to make other people feel like shit.
True. I mean, bold concept, but I can get into it.
I mean, the book is called The Four Agreements. And yeah, and that whole concept just like is so mind-blowing because I mean, I've always feel like you can find peace, and yes, you can find peace ultimately, but I always feel like, you know, what we have with the society, it's not that bad. But then at the same time, when I read this book, I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like, are we really we're living in a dystopia if you really describe it. And we've talked about this before in previous episodes.
You know, I was like, I remember like, I don't know, like months ago, I was like thinking, okay, what if Earth is just a big prison?
Yeah.
Like, what if
American prison system?
Yeah, like, what if the Earth is just prison that, you know, we're all like prisoners. We've done something bad and now we're all being sent to this place. And people are just aliens. Like, yeah.
Oh my God. It's inescapable, honestly.
Are we canceled yet?
But also, you're saying that the entire world, human beings are just canceled by aliens in another planet?
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to send them there.
Yeah. We're going to send them there. And they they won't even know that they'll think this is the good place, but it's hell. You know, it's like that show, The Good Place. It's like people think they're in heaven, but it's actually hell.
Yeah. And that's what we are. I mean, we're kind of going off the tangent a little bit. Yeah. But I mean, to bring it back to, you know, what we're talking about, the society and like our morals, you know, the society always try to hold people accountable to the same morals, and we're supposed to have the same morals. But like, why? What are these morals and why are we sticking to them? I mean, obviously they're like, to me, there are no real morals other than just don't hurt other people.
Right.
You know, like don't be a shitty person to other people. And that's your base foundation. Yeah. And I always believe that if you just have empathy and understand that, you know, that moral, that base foundation, then you can make almost all the right decisions. Like, you don't need to call people out. And like, the thing with laws is that there are too many laws. Right. And so everything you do goes down to a sub category of things, and then you get convicted for this one thing. Everyone just be nicer people.
True. Easy concept, but groundbreaking. Groundbreaking. Everyone be nicer people.
Don't be a cunt.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, political correctness, cancel culture, to me, creates an environment that doesn't allow anyone to correct their behavior because it helps no one. Like I said, it benefits nobody. They, you know, or learn from their mistakes because it could just be damage control. Like, after all, mistakes are part of what makes us human, and they're like how we grow and develop as people. So going back to empathy, like, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, I guess instead of jumping so quickly on cancel culture, actually like make it as like an opportunity, or like give people space for them to actually understand what they've did wrong.
Yeah.
Instead of going to be like, you know, fuck, like, now you're canceled. Nothing happens. No actions.
And I guess the alternative to cancel culture could be consequence culture. I mean, it sounds like the very similar things, but consequence culture is that you really see it through, like, you know, the consequence of things happening to these people. But cancel culture and call culture is really, you call out and then you're just like, it's your issue now. Bye, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you don't really see the consequences.
Accountability.
Yeah, accountability.
Just be accountable for what you do. You said what you said.
Yeah. And you know, if you really think about it, once again, I must say, if you really think about it, who is benefiting from all of this? This is getting into like a Illuminati area.
It's actually a pyramid scheme. By the end of it, you're gonna be converted. I am a Scientology member.
You're gonna get canceled because they cancel people who are Scientologists.
Oh no.
Honey, if you go down, I go down.
Together, we get canceled.
Together. I'm getting a dishwasher in hell. Because if I'm already in hell, I'm not washing dishes.
Fuck me. Dude.
Yeah, like who's really benefiting? The third party that doesn't have an opinion or choose a side because they don't give a shit about what you say or who's being canceled. All they care about is profit. At the end of the day, it's about profit. It's about social media platforms for engagement equaling ads. Getting bitches, we're going to capitalism again.
Right. So I would urge everyone to actually just educate yourself and practice empathy every day instead of really extending your energy on social media and calling out everyone.
Yes, absolutely. And do what you can. And, you know, I mean, for us to call out culture and call out cancel culture,
dude,
it's not... We're not starting this podcast to change the world. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm capable of it. Like, we have like, just like, it's hard for us to even get a PayPal donation. Like, honey, we're poor. But, you know, I'm just trying to, I guess we're doing this with this podcast. It's just, we're trying to not let the world change us and who we are fundamentally as human beings.
Yeah.
You know, the inherent kindness, empathy, and love that we have that lives within us, and we can share it and, you know, radiate that to other people, because maybe other people have the same inherent kindness and love and empathy, but it's just been buried and, you know, through hatred and experiences of, you know, traumas. And yeah, at the end of the day, you know, we're starting this podcast to talk about these things. It's not like we want to change the world. It's just we don't want the world to change us because we are fundamentally good people. And I believe that.
I would argue that I'm problematic.
We're fundamentally problematic people that want to make good decisions.
Yeah, just to play devil's apple bottom jeans. Yeah, true. And also, I guess to like start, I guess my whole thing now with life and everything I do is to like understand why I'm doing it. So like to really make people question why you are, you know, why are you jumping up to this? Why are you calling out people? And why are you doing the things you do? And what can you do instead of it that actually make a difference with the power you have, you know?
Absolutely. And I mean, as a conclusion, I saw this quote from Obama talking about cancel culture. And it's funny that Obama and Trump doesn't agree on anything other than cancel culture being problematic and toxic. He said, being as judgmental as possible about other people is not activism.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking, Barack.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's at the end of the day is what it's about. It's, you
just
know,
a thought. Yeah, food for
just
thought.
a thought. If you don't want to judge yourself, then don't be judgmental towards other people. Like, if you think about today, if you feel like you're a shitty person, it's because you probably feel like other people are shitty people. And then now you do the things that they do, and then all of a sudden you're judging yourselves. So being as judgmental as possible about other people is not activism. True activism starts within you.
So true. Hard to grasp concept for modern world, but
groundbreaking.
Great.
Well, that was fun. I hope we didn't get canceled.
I would still love to share opinions that no one has asked for.
Yeah,
so
unsolicited advice.
Please keep listening. And lastly, if you like our podcast, you can follow us on Instagram at sugahoneybbt at SUGAHONEYBBT. And you can keep up with the mommies at BBT Mommy and at Sensitive Bow.
Yes, and once again, help us. We're poor, so
poor.
PayPal us, please.
Please.
And if you PayPal us, you can participate in our little game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that
that's
for
it.
you.
Love that for you. And now I'm going to go and spiral in this whole third-party capitalism thing with
Get in,
cancel
bitches.
culture.
Anarchy.
Vroom, vroom, bitches.
Bye.